Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the newest Super Famicom game, which was just released in July of this year. It's Shubibinman Zero, which was originally broadcast on Nintendo's Satellaview service in Japan back in 1997, but never got a physical release until Columbus Circle bought the rights to it and published it themselves. This is the fourth game in the Shubibinman series, and if you're not familiar with it, that's probably because the only game in the series that ever got a US release was Shubibinman 2, repackaged as Shockman and published for the TurboGrafx 16 in 1992. The premise of the series is that it's basically a lighthearted version of a Sentai series such as Power Rangers or maybe Kamen Rider. Whenever the planet is threatened by intergalactic supervillains, teenage hero Tasuke transforms into the mighty Shubibinman, defender of the Earth, or at the very least, Japan. The Shubibinman series is one that changes its gameplay from game to game, and I'm happy to say that this is actually my new favorite game in the series. It's essentially a very straightforward action platformer that incorporates beat-em-up elements, i.e. you punch and kick the hell out of enemies to defeat them, and you can also perform a Hadouken-style charge shot. Defeated enemies leave behind various point and health power-ups, and as you progress through the game, your max health increases. The controls are smooth, the challenge is fair, and there are plenty of different enemy types, stage hazards, and boss battles to contend with. Plus, if you have a friend around, you can play a little two-player co-op, which I haven't been able to try yet, but I imagine it's just as fun, and that's really about it. This is a solid platformer and not really anything more. It takes about an hour to finish, and it's a very enjoyable hour. Maybe I'm being extra lenient because the last new release I played for the Super Famicom was Unholy Night, a game so bad it made my head hurt, but as it stands, I really enjoyed this game, and I think most retro gamers would enjoy it too. The overall presentation in Shubibinman Zero is pretty good too. Like I said, it's originally a 1997 Satellaview release, but graphically I'd say it looks more like it comes from the early 90s, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, as this is still a fairly colorful game with some nicely detailed stages, a couple of well-made cutscenes, and some character designs that I really like. It's definitely different from the previous games in the series, but the chibi, almost super deformed style works really well here. Just a good-looking game in general, really, and the sound design is nice too. The soundtrack has a very upbeat and energetic sound to it, which is great for a platformer like this. I'd say it almost sounds like a Mega Man X game in spots, and the sound effects and even the handful of voice samples also sound great. This game was originally published by Messiah back in the day, and they were usually pretty good about making sure their games had some appealing graphics and sound, and Shubibinman Zero keeps that trend going. It's a very well-made game with some nice presentation and excellent gameplay. I'm very happy with it overall. So I like this game a lot. It's an all-around solid 16-bit platformer and well worth playing for any fans of the genre. Unfortunately, this is a game that, if you go looking for it online, you'll find that prices have gone up on it as resellers have snatched up brand new copies and posted them for upwards of 70 to 80 bucks, even though it goes for closer to 40 on store shelves, and that's pretty lame. If you can find a copy for the original retail price, I'd say this game is worth it, especially if you haven't played anything new for the SNES in a long time. This should be an especially appealing game. It's Shubibinman Zero, and it's awesome.